Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the afternoon updates. Just making a video because early on we didn't have a lot to talk about on the slate. It wasn't looking great at the beginning of the day. We got some recent news with the Hornets news, at least. We're still waiting on a number of news from Philly, possibly from Houston still with Eric Gordon questionable, and then John Wall could be rested tonight. So those are the main pieces of news we're waiting on, also on Malcolm Brogdon. But the Hornets news is big enough to where I felt like a lot has changed on the slate, so they are going to be the primary team to target after last night. It was a tough game for them, but they ended up coming back with an improbable win. They were down 8 points with like a minute to go, and then Malik Monk saved the day. So hopefully they still have some fresh legs for tonight because I will be going right back to them. It's a great spot against Portland. But all in all, just gonna go ahead and break down my core picks that have changed for this one. Stay tuned to Twitter if you want the final picks close to lock. But let's get started. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. All that good stuff. Starting off at point guard, we have. If you want the positional breakdown, watch the first video. Just gonna do what I did yesterday and just give you guys the updated picks, at least. So first and foremost, it's gonna start with LaMelo Ball. He's 8,700 bucks. You have Terry Rozier in the sim as a guy that you could pivot to, but I just think LaMelo Ball, if you're making a cash lineup, even for tournaments, just gives you a lot of upside. Rozier can go absolutely nuts if he gets hot shooting, but in terms of peripherals, it's really LaMelo is going to rule the day in assists, going to get more rebounds than Rozier probably. Going to take a similar amount of shots. Rozier could lead him in scoring, but I feel like given the assists, rebounds, and then LaMelo's Ball propensity to get some steals. He gives the first Hornet that I want to plug in here. At shooting guard, still like Kyrie a bit, still like Oladipo. I like him a lot more if there's no Gordon and no Wall. But even if there's just one of no Wall or Gordon, he looks like a decent option. But I think we can do a little bit better just as of now, and that is going to be Malik Monk, 5,500 bucks. He could be a guy that gets overlooked. People are going to be jamming in Washington. They're going to be jamming in Lamelo. They're going to be jamming in maybe a few other pieces from the Hornets. And I think Malik Monk could get a bit overlooked. He's 55, so the price tag is kind of the highest he's been all season, but is definitely well deserving. He's been playing great off the bench. He had the game winner last night in Sacramento. He's just been playing great, even though he went 0 of 7 from 3. Normally, that type of shooting would kill you for a guy like Malik Monk, but he's been getting to the free throw line. He's been getting to the basket. He's been actually getting some peripheral stats, which is nice to see. Put up 32 at 5,300. He's been pretty consistent recently, even with Gordon Hayward in there, even with them being pretty healthy, except for Devontae Graham. He's definitely been a lot better since Hayward's been out, and I think that I will want to go back to him. Against Portland, he should be seeing 30 plus minutes off the bench. Small forward, this position, I think I might pass on it for the core pieces, just taking a bit of a wait and see approach on some of the Sixers news. So we could maybe play Ben Simmons here. We have some other questionable pieces for value. You have Bridges from the Hornet side, who looks pretty good. You could look to McDermott if they're without Brogdon. We still have a pretty good value pieces in Bacon. Both, or at least one of the Martin twins, I think Cody plays more. Cody Martin, 3,500, and then PJ Dozier. So position is still pretty much up for grabs if you wanted to pay up or pay down. See what the latest injury news has to offer. Power forward, gonna be pretty popular, but it's gonna be PJ Washington. I mean, I just don't want to fade him just because it's could actually kill you. He wasn't super popular yesterday, but he's gonna be way popular today, and it's against Portland, so they could still play him against Ennis Cantor. They could play him at the 5 a lot. The coach hasn't been playing Bismack Biyombo a lot, so that's opened up the door for Washington to get a lot of center minutes, and he's been pretty good in that role. He's got 10 rebounds, 9 rebounds last 2 games, playing big minutes. Uh, Obviously, it's never fun to just chase a guy like this, but his price tag is still really cheap, and without Hayward, without Zalari, is basically the uh, the main guy in the front court, so he should be getting a lot of rebounding opportunities and hopefully he stays out of foul trouble. This will be the night that he fouls like 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes. That would absolutely suck, but I am thinking he'll be able to have some success, especially when he's matched up against Cantor. Speaking of Cantor, I think this game is a great one to stack up on the night. So far we've been all about the Hornets. I do like some Blazers. I like Cantor. I like Damian Lillard. Cantor should be able to have success against Washington. It's going to go both ways. I think they both will be able to get a ton of rebounds. Cantor's been just a rebounding machine, 17, 14, 15, 13. Only got 4 against Pelicans. Pretty weird, but they had 21 against OKC. He's been a rebounding monster. Gets a lot of looks at the basket. Lillard helps in that department. He can knock down some free throws. All in all, at a center position, which has a couple of guys at the top, but the mid range, it's like Cantor, Gobert. They are the main ones, and then for value, you can look to like Aldridge. Could even play Washington at center if you wanted to. You could even look to like Steven Adams, but I do like Cantor. I think he's going to be the. I think he has a good shot to get you 6x tonight. And then, assuming that there's no Gordon and possibly there could be no Walls, Oladipo right now, I like if both of those guys happen to be in, then I'll probably upgrade from Oladipo because if both Wall and Gordon are in, I don't feel great about Oladipo. But if one of those guys misses, like Oladipo's a guy that shoots a bunch, he just turned down a 2-year extension from the Rockets. Seems like he wants to get out of there, just like a lot of stars in Houston. Oladipo has not been playing like a star this season. He's been shooting up a lot of bricks. Um, but he still like has an incredibly high usage, so it's a spot that if he gets 35, 36 minutes, always kind of uncertainty with the Rockets given how terribly they've been playing. Think that at least against Cleveland they wouldn't be able to get blown out, but who knows? Oladipo at 77 is still a good price tag if Gordon or John Wall sit. And then last but not least, we can look at some Spurs. I think Aldridge still looks solid. They're missing still some of the role pieces. No Rudy Gay, no Keldon Johnson. So Aldridge minutes are going to be pretty secure in the front court, especially against Brooklyn. I think he will be able to have some success against the DeAndre Jordan, against Jeff Green if he plays. Just a good spot for Aldridge. He was in foul trouble last game, so he lost a bunch of minutes. But first game back, he played 26 off the bench. Then he played 23, but that was due to foul trouble. I think he can get up to 30 at least tonight. And the matchup is just great. Could be looking at a double-double, although he hasn't been having many of those. Hopefully they play a lot of him at the 5 today because obviously there's no need to play both him and Jakob Poeltl at the same time against Brooklyn. So hopefully Poeltl just kind of backs him up and we get good minutes out of Aldridge because I could see him have one of his better games of the season. And that's pretty much it for the afternoon rundown. So a lot's changed. Obviously, Charlotte looks tremendous tonight. Look at some Portland to run it back, and then we'll see what the other injury news brings. But go ahead and touch on FanDuel. Okay, on FanDuel, starting off at point guard, I mean, it's going to be tough not to have LaMelo. He's only 79. He is incredibly cheap. Obviously, if you want to be different, you can look to some other pivots because he's going to be super popular, but I just don't think, like, there's no way I won't have him. I like Lillard at 10-1. I still think you can go to Kyrie. John Wall is like the guy that I don't really like above 8,000. Everybody else is pretty fine. And then Ben Simmons, depending on the injuries. But LaMelo is going to be my favorite. At shooting guard, Terry Rozier, terrible performance yesterday, but I think he bounces back tonight. He's the guy that I will like to get to at $6,800. Position as a whole isn't super deep now. I don't have to think about playing Terrence Ross or Bledsoe or like Trent. I mean, you could still play Ross because I think he gives you some tournament upside, but I don't have to really worry about paying or playing a lot of these role pieces that probably would have just ended up disappointing me. And then you can look to Seth Curry as a cheap play. Small forward, probably load up on some of this Charlotte game, and I like Malik Monk. Don't know why he's small forward eligible, but he's only 4,900. Definitely gonna have at least 3 Hornets, possibly 4 in my lineup. Malik Monk is just impossible for me not to like. Power forward, it's still LaMarcus Aldridge is just incredibly cheap at $5,600. Just way too cheap in a great spot. He should absolutely eat if he's given some minutes tonight. And then last but not least, it's Enes Kanter, who's only 6,300. I'm trying to get to him on DraftKings because I want to get him on FanDuel, and then if he goes off on FanDuel and I don't play him on DraftKings, that will make me sad. But I feel like 63 is the best play at center. You can go different with like Biombo, but But yeah, I have no confidence in his minutes right now. Even with the lack of bodies, they only played him limited amount yesterday. Played like 20, I think, 20 minutes. But the coach is more than happy with going with Washington at the 5 and running a lineup with Ball, Terry Rozier, Malik Monk, Washington, and Bridges. So I think he looks like a still a risky play. And Portland, they do play Cantor as a big, but it seems like Washington can handle him. So that's it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Best of luck tonight. Stay tuned for more updates. I'll post them on Twitter. And catch you all later.